Welcome to God's Way YTVY. I'm Adolphina Shephard, and this is my co-host Thomas Knight's Templar.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, sis. Welcome, everyone, to the show.
Well, we have a fabulous show lined up for you today. We have Master Iridologist here, who's really become quite the famous person in the past few years since we've had her on.
That's right.
And she's a Master Herbalist, wellness coach. And let's see, Amazon bestseller lately, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
her
that's
name
great.
is Birgit Lueders, and I'm going to turn it over to you and see what else you want to talk about, because I know you have every award you want to talk about a little bit.
Thanks so much for inviting me again.
You're
I feel like
welcome.
family already with you guys,
I know, I
right?
know.
Because it's like the
Yeah.
third time I show up here, and every once in a while I'm like,
Yeah, but this
asking
time
again.
you're really
coming. Yeah, exactly. It was 2 years. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work really hard to be invited back to you guys
you're invited back here anytime you want to come.
and show off all my accomplishments. So the first thing I really got was just actually came by the mail like 2 days ago, which was very interesting. So it's Business Hall of Fame in the city that I work, and they gave me a 5-year consecutive best wellness program from my business, Birgit.
That's big.
Very
So
good.
that's
That
big.
is.
I just got it out of the box, and I'm like, I'm gonna take it with me to Adolphina.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Right? And then, of course, with everybody else, COVID has made changes in everybody's business, right? So suddenly I didn't have so much foot traffic coming into my practice. And I got many, many offers already to be a co-author of several books, but I never had time for it, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, when suddenly everybody stopped and stayed at home, right? And I was also a homestaying mom, so I was
Yeah.
a teacher as well.
I just got a great question for you, because you just said the question that I have for you. And that is, when you do the study of the eye, can you detect COVID?
That's a big question we
Ah.
were saying. So
That was a good
scientifically,
question, wasn't it?
yeah.
That was a great question.
Yeah.
Question,
So
yeah.
scientifically, there is no research yet what kind of sign it is, because it's brand new. We would have to research for the next 10 years now
Okay.
and get all those eyes and line up with that. But this is exactly where I come back for the talk today.
Okay.
We want to talk about, the eye perspective about detox. And detox has all sorts of flair in this world. Like everybody says, oh, I do a detox, you do a detox. I mean, this word detox is
No,
like,
they toss it around like it's a household word, you know.
it's like
I tried the broccoli detox. I know what the broccoli will do to you, you know.
Exactly. So I want to explain the perspective from the eyes, because the iris does show certain signs that we have weaknesses in, and especially without getting too much into COVID. You can see weaknesses in people's lungs. You can see weaknesses genetically.
Yeah.
And they, of course, then when it is a virus that was hitting the lungs, they might have need to be more cautious, need to be more sensitive with this kind of widespread virus as somebody who has more resiliency. And this is exactly why I'm happy you invited me, so we can talk about all that.
Well, as you know, I'm a firm believer in it, and it's a great diagnostic tool. That and wet blood cell. I mean, I don't think you can get any clearer answers than through the eyes and through the wet blood cell. The blood test, the regular blood test, they don't come close to
I
either.
got to do one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing iridologists, and they told me things way before anything would have shown up, so you can fix it in advance.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the energy medicine work that I do. If you can fix it in the field, it never
Yes.
manifests in the body, right?
Right.
It's the same thing. You're viewing it, diagnosing it,
yeah.
and fixing it before it really hits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted to come to your show today and talk a little bit more about physical genetic weaknesses that we can see so early in our eyes, because it's embedded in our DNA, and it is a science-based tool, Iridology, so I can already see even in children if they have more weakness in the lungs or in the liver, and this is why I wanted to come to this show. And
Those are the things that you can protect.
yeah, so that's
You can
why
know
I
in
wanted to
advance. Why not?
let you know. The first thing that I wanted to show to you was that everybody's confused about detox, including all the holistic people, right?
Everybody has a different answer, right?
And we all think we have the right answer, right? And we
Wow.
all think my method is better than yours. Yours.
Yeah.
You know when you hear some of the different methods of detox, you know,
Yeah.
drink cucumber water and then don't drink this at this time, put maple syrup in
Yes.
this, you'll lose 10 pounds.
Yes.
I mean, really, the people,
Yes.
you know, it gets ridiculous.
And
but
this
you-
here is a science
Oh,
of
yeah.
how to do it.
Well, you know, I'll tell you one of the people that I follow and have followed for many years was Edgar Casey with
Casey,
the
yeah.
ARE.
Yeah.
I mean, he had, they would send him all the terminal people, and he would cure 70 or 80% of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? I
Wait till they
believe.
saw the bill. They would die right away.
Well, the thing is, I mean, that everybody, he was the father of holistic medicine, I believe, truly.
And
you
that's
know?
exactly where I step into it. So we can do, hydrotherapy, we can do steaming baths, we can do ionic baths, we can do wheatgrass shots, we can do celery juices, we can do extreme.
Ayurveda, what that?
Exactly, and we can do also extreme herbal products. And this is why I'm here also, because I wanted to
Would you
give.
like that up on the screen?
Yeah, so it's coming up on the screen here. This one is called exactly what we should not do, is doing harm. It doesn't matter what kind of detox you do. There are a lot of like sayings that, oh yeah, I had such heavy like bad detox symptoms and I was bedridden. And right from the bat, when I tell you about my detox way with the eyes, is I do no harm, because that's Hippocrates said that.
Hippocrates.
And that's exactly where we should be, even if it's a detox, do no harm. And how do I not do any harm, right? I have to figure out the strength of each body. So when you see those two pictures right now, you can see clearly the dam, right, holding up that water, right?
Yes.
It's definitely stronger than maybe, the door of your chicken barn, right?
My
Compared to
chicken
that.
barn.
Is it?
Okay.
Is it like, that's what the point is. And then you see the tree on top there.
Yes.
There are no trees at all, but this one must have been a resiliency. So this is the only tree right up there on top when there are no other trees. So the point what I'm having is, when we look into the eyes with iridology, we can actually see what kind of physical strength you inherited.
Okay.
And the way we can see it is by the fibers being very tight or very loose, right? And so I wanted to show the next picture then for that. As you can see here, you can see the fibers with the painting on the left, very, very straight, right? So those are the people who can handle very strong detoxes. You can put them on like a water fast. You can put them on, bentonite clay to swallow that, or anything extreme that's out there, they might survive.
Bentonite clay?
Yeah, I'll get to this.
I can't wait to hear that one.
I know, right? And then you look at those eyes now compared to the other ones. They have more loops, and they look like little sunflowers,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Look
they
at the
do.
one on the
It looks
left.
like he did it with a spirograph.
Yeah.
right? Exactly. So they inherited a physical strength that is not that strong. So now you could say like, okay, is this a good or a bad, judgment about your physical inherited strength? At the end, it's not. It's more the big questions. What do you do with what you have?
Right. Got it.
And this is where all that problems comes with do no harm. Unfortunately, herbalism have created some very extreme herbal packages and herbal products. And there's even a friend of mine, she ordered a product, on New Year's, right? New Year's is always the day you want to like,
Okay, so she got something on a
Detox.
discount.
and she got something from those commercials, and she ended up in the ER with kidney failure.
Yikes. What's you order? I don't want to order that.
Exactly. That was like 10 or 15 years ago. So now the FDA has been more strong
of
with
that.
that, because there are some products, they are not safe. But how do you know as consumer which product to take and which not? Because
They make a lot of wild claims. This
Exactly.
does this, it does that, it straightens out your immune system, and blah, 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 all this stuff. And then you get it,
Yeah.
and you take it, and you into them for like $2,000 or $3,000 in a
Yes.
year. And guess what?
yes,
You're still the same way.
yes. And that's exactly why I wanted to show what happens if a detox that goes bad.
Did you bring your equipment? Because you haven't looked at my eyes for a
Yeah, I
couple
brought
of
my
years.
equipment, and I did. So after
Oh,
the
good.
show,
You're
I'll
I've been
look at
looking
your
at them.
eyes.
You know what they say?
What?
Stop drinking. Anyway,
Tommy.
All right, I made that part. She don't drink.
So with the next picture, you can see how clean is your body. I mean, I always say that our terrain, our soil, is just mimicking or mirroring the outside of the earth right now as well, right?
Or vice versa.
We don't know which
Yeah.
one is the
The
mirroring of each
The
other.
main reason for that is all the toxicity that's put into our foods, the processed
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
And we never were like that. You go back to like the 1940s, 20s, 30s, 50s. Once you got into the 60s, they started putting all these preservatives in.
Yes.
I mean, you got stuff. When I was in the army,
Yeah.
they had stuff that was from like 1943.
Yeah, yeah. And that's exactly
Yeah.
why our bodies have to handle way more toxicity. So when we go extreme with another extreme detox, then we're actually doing more harm to ourselves
Yeah.
as good. And in this case, what the most priority is actually before we start any detox, you know, like I said, herbal detoxes or juice detoxes or tea detoxes,
yeah,
you
the
need
Asian
to
tea.
understand that we have 5 elimination organs, right? So if they are not opening the door to eliminate the toxins out, you can get toxified with the
Is
toxins
that the bladder?
that the body
kidneys?
actually want to hide away,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Think about our liver holds all those like viruses that we maybe never have been affected with, just hides it away. But when you take certain herbs that pushes the liver to purge itself, then they all come back out, right? So that's why it's important that we understand that those 5 elimination organs have to be open because they remove the toxins through the exit door, right?
Well, the skin is the biggest.
Exactly. So it's the
Yeah.
skin, the kidney, the lungs,
Bladder.
the liver, the bladder, and the intestines.
That's it.
Right? So, and it's also important that my prep work when I work with clients is that I'm working on seeing how strong is the elimination organs quality, right?
Yeah.
Before I do anything, right? And by doing so, I also understand, like you said, blood can show, you know,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of things already, the analyzing. So we know also that those elimination organs, they literally filter the toxins out from the bloodstream and from the lymphatic system.
Right, right, right.
Think about that right now. So if now, let's say I'm like,
How do you do the analyzation?
Exactly.
If I was coming to you just saying,
Yeah.
you're gonna look at my eye, obviously.
right. So
Well-
that's why I brought up the next picture. So
Okay.
we have found out from all the research, and I think the first time when I was in the show, we talked about the categorizing and putting them in constitutions and groups, right? Here's this typical blue eyes. Adolphina has blue eyes, right? So
Yeah.
we're talking about Adolphina right here. In a way, it's not your eye, but it's you will be grouped in the same category. And we found out that the blue eye person has a weaker elimination organs with the kidneys, the lymph system, right? And the skin.
Where would you find that on that slide?
On the slide, you can see
Is it around the pupil?
So when you see the red arrow right there on the edge, it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
black
yeah, yeah.
ring. This
Yeah.
is where our lymphatic system is and the skin. So when you see that, it's very dark. So obviously the lymph and the skin is not eliminating so good, right? So if I would just go on to a detox
Well, you don't
now,
got it.
she doesn't have it.
You don't have it.
No, I'm eliminating good, baby.
I just wanted to look in your eyes.
You just wanted to look at my
Another
eye.
thing
Yeah.
is like blue-eyed people have a little bit more weakness in their kidneys. So if you don't happen to find an iridologist like me, then you just go into your family history, right? And you see if your father or grandfather or family
Had any
had any
kind of
issues
kidney
with
disease.
kidneys, exactly.
You gotta see a
Or-
nephrologist.
Yes, and in this case, what I would suggest then is you're going immediately into supporting your kidney before it's even breaking, right? While waiting.
If you can you I know you do the herbs. Can you correct that? That
Not
in another picture it'll come out different.
Not in that lifetime. The eyes are like your
You gotta
DNA.
keep you dead.
Your eyes is like a fingerprint. Remember, the
Yeah.
FBI uses a fingerprint.
They
You know,
use
to
your
like-
eyes now, too.
Yes, because they don't change. You can burn your fingers off. You know that would change then. But the eyes really don't change in that lifetime. But you can change your lifestyle, and then when you have children, it could change in their eyes. Then they didn't inherit it.
And also karma. Karma would change that. like if you do karma work, negative work, you can break a pattern like that with cancer or diabetes or whatever too, and that's important for people to understand too.
That's the spiritual aspect of it.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
that's why things don't change, is because they're ancestral karma too. I mean, you can change it in the physical, but is it going to come back because you didn't do your spiritual work? Right?
Exactly,
Well,
and this
yeah.
is also important to understand because I go to a lot of holistic expos, right? That's where we met even, and we have several layers on the body because we are a spirit in a human body, right?
Right.
A physical body. So I'm working with the physical layer, which means literally like what are you eating, what are you taking in, what kind of organ system has gotten damaged from the toxicity. But then there's also the emotional layer, right? As you
Right.
know, then we have the mental layer, then we have the spiritual layer.
Yeah.
So we are a vibration of light in this physical body. So the way I do detox, it go a little bit more into the physical first, right? Because that's more every 3 hours we can beat up our physical body or not, which is when we eat. Right? And then you want to go into the emotional. So what I do now when I know with the blue eye people, including myself, lymphatic system issues.
Blue eyes. Both sides.
Yeah, you
I am
kind of
in deep
surround
trouble.
it. Yes, exactly.
What's new?
I
So-
got brown eyes. I'm full of it up to here. Go ahead.
So what I'm talking about is now that we saw the scurv rim, lymphatic system. A lot of people don't even know what is the lymphatic system. I mean, it's like kind of like what it really is. It is part of the immune system. And the reason why I'm talking about it, because we have really worried about our immune system for the last 2.5 years, right?
Right.
Like whoever has the strongest immune system maybe didn't get affected, you know? So that's why the lymphatic system is important. It's just the little lymph nodes that we have everywhere. Like when we get sick,
here,
right? They swell up
over
instantly,
all over the
right?
place,
So
yeah.
like a strep throat, before you have strep throat, you swell up right here with
Yep.
your knots. And the lymph nodes, they just find the virus or the bacteria, capsulates it, and tries to eliminate it out of the body via kidney, via bowel movements.
urine,
Yes, so
any evacuation system.
right, but the lymphatic system can only move when we move.
Right, because it doesn't have a pump like the heart.
Exactly.
Right, but you know what? It's kind of like its own blood system, but it doesn't have the heart to pump it, so that's why you need to be active.
Well, actually, what
Yes.
it's like throughout the body, miniature roadblocks that stop something. It stays there until you physically move it.
Yeah. And that's why, like, over a long time history now, people know that when somebody's very, very sick, the first thing they need to do is get them out of the bed. Get them upright. Because the moment you're standing up,
That's
your
right.
lymph is moving, you're moving, and then you can pull out those viruses or whatever you capsulated and bring them out. And there's a funny story for me, actually, because I'm blue-eyed, lymphatic system. So I flew on this long flight to the Maldives that we were talking about, and this flight is like 15 hours
That's
from
all?
New York. And then there's another flight for 5 hours.
Oh boy.
To get to
Exactly.
where you got to go for 15 hours.
Yes, so it's like a
okay.
total of 20 hours.
Does a
So-
boat go there?
So where I'm getting to is when I got out, my legs looked so swollen. You know,
Really?
like talk about cankles.
Oh my God.
I
you're,
mean,
you're so
it was-
thin.
and it was so funny because I was like,
She's then.
Mm-hmm.
I told
I know, I was like talking to my boyfriend. I'm like, do you think my ankles are big? And he's like, no. But then later on, he told me they were like this big,
Wow.
Yeah,
right? So
compared to normal.
what happened is because I was sitting on the chair for 15 hours
Yeah.
and you couldn't drink that much water. And the
you wasn't
food on the
hydrated.
airplane is always so high with sodium, right?
Yeah.
So that's the perfect mix for our sluggish lymphatic system people, like blue eye people, that we swell up, right? So it took me like 2 days of drinking lots of water, you know what I
To
mean?
flush
And
out.
flush it out and
Fatties.
like literally talk about it. I didn't even like, even my fingers were like
I
looking.
cannot imagine you, knowing how statuesque you are, having an ounce of fat on you
I
at
know,
all.
I know.
It was water fluid everywhere. So that means when we were in COVID, right? What did we do first? We sat down and watched TV, and we didn't want to move.
I didn't move for 7 days.
So this is when it's important that when we have an immune system threat, right? Keep walking, moving, exercising. And one of the things also which is great for lymphatic system stagnation is sauna, steaming baths, infrared light saunas, ionic foot baths. All that stuff moves your lymph, right? And the
Ionic-
Northern European do a
ionic
lot
foot
of.
baths?
That's
What's the
changes.
vibration one?
You put your feet in this water,
Yeah.
kind of top foot bath, and there's electrodes in there
Oh,
that
okay.
changes the magnetism of the water. It changes from, I think,
So
positive
an
to negative.
ionize, I can't even say
Yes,
it. Ionization of the water.
yes.
Yeah, I see.
You
Yeah.
probably know about that too, right?
Could you, well, I know you can drink ionized water, but could you do that and get the interior done?
I don't know, but you could do pH balanced water. Remember,
yeah.
because like being too acidic is also slowing down our synapses and our frequency and energy, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Is with detox, I haven't even started detoxing yet, as you know. And with my blue-eye people, I'm right in the lymphatic system already, and with the movements and exercise, sauna, steaming baths, all those stuffs we can do, and we're powerful to do so.
Okay.
Right? So what that means is now, when I go to this picture, which is more the mixed eye, which you have,
Can you bring it up, please? Okay.
that's more symbolizes yours because it's more a mix of brown and blue, right?
That's me.
And so there you see the exact pigment, the brown pigmentation in the lower area. The brown pigment that's much darker as the rest of the iris is always associated with the liver.
Ew.
Right? We know that the liver is what? The number one filter in our system, right?
Yeah.
And it's also responsible for like 500 different other
Diseases.
chemical functions
But he's
in the
got
body.
several on that eye. One there, one up there. That's all for the liver?
Right. So the liver is just spreading it around, you know, like saying, hey, take care of me because genetically I'm a little bit weaker as the rest of it. So when this person goes and does some extreme detox, you don't want to do that because first you need to kind of help the liver to already filter itself.
Well, the
before.
liver's the filter of the body. and
Exactly.
Kidneys. you know.
But here's the good thing, which I shouldn't even say on public TV. The liver is the easiest thing to forgive you. So if we have been drinking a lot.
So you mean that binge I had over the weekend, that's all right? I got to start drinking. This way I can quit and have the other things go away. They go away?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. I shouldn't even say it.
Do
Did
they
you
go
know
away?
that the liver regrows itself? Right? So if you cut a piece away, it grows back.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you can cut that off. Yeah.
Right?
It would have to be on the inside. Anyway, yeah.
So that means our diet, unfortunately, is way more fatty as nowadays. You talked about 1943. I don't think we had that much, you know.
We didn't have cows injected with all these steroids and everything.
Yes.
You ever see the size of these cows?
Yes.
You used to get 4 cows. You know, today, 4 cows, you could probably fit 16 of the other ones
Yes.
that weren't filled up with this stuff. Now they
Yes.
call them free range
Yes.
meats that you pay 10 times the price for.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about something while you two were chatting. I seem to recall reading somewhere that one of the problems with the COVID patients was that they were laying down. And so
That's
the
right.
fluid was getting in
Choking
their
them.
lungs from the lymphatics, right? So that's why when
Yes.
someone's sick, you have to sit up.
That's
Yes.
exactly what my doctor said to me. He says to me,
Yeah.
he goes, go out there. I was winding up fatigued so fast because of pneumonia. I had COVID pneumonia right after COVID.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
All right.
always what happens.
So, well, from,
Most likely, unfortunately.
I tell you, I walked a 6-story walk up carrying a 50-pound box.
Wow.
And the next thing I know, the doctor said to me, goes, from now on, you do that, and when you get to the point where you feel that fatigue, go through it.
Yeah.
Go through it. You got to start retrain your lungs. And that's what I was doing. I was doing that. And, you know, do I get tired sometimes in the course of the day? You know, I'll just be, I feel fine. Also.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
tired.
that's is exactly what they even showed on YouTube videos is like when you're so congested with your lungs, which is again lymphatic stagnation, you know, mucus buildup, you can literally choke on your own mucus,
That's
right?
right.
So in this case, I teach my clients to remove mucus forming foods, which is flour, you know,
Milk.
gluten, milk, exactly, lots of sugar. And then also on
Ice
this,
cream.
exactly. And on the YouTube video, they showed literally when you had this COVID or this mucus building up in this chest, to just tap somebody behind
Yes.
the shoulder blades between it.
Tell me what the doctor told me.
They do that for some I forget the
It's to
name of the
break up
disease.
the congestion.
No, I mean.
Oh, yeah, the
there's-
slapping to get
there's an old-timey disease that people
Yeah.
would get and they couldn't breathe, and they would do that to break it up.
And all what you really do is like you tap, tap, tap,
Yeah.
and you kind of you initiate the movement of the lymphatic system. Like I said, when I was
Yeah.
sitting in this chair in the plane, nothing moved anymore. Everything became stagnated.
You get up to go,
Yeah, like I was sitting like in the middle seat, you know how that
Yeah.
is, and you don't wake up the other person, and then you feel guilty. So
that wouldn't have been good with me. Get
no,
up,
you would
get
just
out of
like
it.
jump over it.
Even a weekend in bed will weaken you.
Yes.
Even a weekend in bed.
And remember how it was when you had a hip replacement? They kept you in bed for the longest time. Nowadays, within like
They get you
5,
right up.
6 hours after surgery,
Yeah.
Really?
they already put you straight up,
That's
and you
right.
have to kind of move with your
That's
walker, right?
Joanne had that for Long Island. She had a hip replacement,
Huh.
and she was up the same day.
Yeah, and then
They
literally
did that for Steve when he had the double knee replacement. He was like broccoli. I mean, they had two
holding him.
people hold him up, and he, you know what I mean?
And he wasn't a little guy either.
No, not a little guy. And they're walking him around, and he was like half, passed out, but at least they had his body moving.
And that's exactly the point we have learned so much now to work with what we have, right? Like I said, so even if you have the DNA of a weaker lymphatic system, you got to move, you got to you learned, to kind of move the lymphatic system around. And it's with all the elimination organs, like colon, intestines, you absolutely should eat a high fiber diet. When somebody has inflammation,
Yeah,
and they eat all this protein and it's not moving, and if, I don't even want to go, then it's all gets stuck. And then of course all those symptoms of different diseases can come on because of just one problem of elimination, right? And so with all that, I take care of that now. When I have those brown eyes, I'm gonna go right into the gallbladder, into the liver, into the pancreas. And just a tip for
What
the
would you? All right,
Yeah.
that's my eye. So
so the tip for that one would be
I landed out on a Sunday. So anyway, what
Tip.
would I do about this?
Exactly. So you want to have certain things in your diet naturally, like dandy blend is my favorite thing.
Dandelion?
Yes, dandelion
She's gonna
is
make me eat
great.
weeds.
Yes.
Weeds are gonna eat.
I
I use
drink the
Roundup on
coffee.
weeds. I didn't get nothing from that.
I like dandelion for the pancreas. I like, burdock root is big in Chinese medicine. They cook a lot of stews and pots with that because it looks like a root. And that is always a gallbladder cleanser, right? And then you can also have milk thistle as a
Milk
supplement,
thistle, I know that one,
right?
yeah.
That you can take over time. And that all together helps it. And then one thing that most people don't understand is the liver gets bothered the most when we cook with so much oil that we cook in the pot. So when you take olive oil, right, and you heat it, it gets so rancid when it's above 350 degrees or whatever, right? So that the liver has problems of digesting it. So instead of doing that, just take a tablespoon or two, put it in when you saute something, saute in water, right? Cook the food or whatever you cook with, and then at the end when you finish, drizzle your oil on it. And
So
then
it
you
shouldn't
get-
be cooked.
Exactly.
It's more effective olive oil when
Yes.
it's not cooked.
Because
All
that
makes
takes
sense.
a lot of work for the liver, right? And then, like you said, pesticides,
Oh,
right?
pesticides. I gotta deal with it every day.
And then another thing is medicine, the side effect of taking
That's
too much.
pesticide too. It's no better.
The side effect,
Yeah.
the side effect of taking medication.
What about that guy, Tommy? He's a pest. Here, give him these pills. Boom, he's
So,
done.
Once we have too many medication, I'm not against medication if you need it, you have thyroid issues or something, it's okay. But sometimes people swallow pills too quickly, They have a little bit headache and instead of drinking water, they immediately go for the Tylenol, right? Or you have a little bit sleeping problems, you immediately take a sleeping pill. And that's what I
Go
mean.
for the Jack Daniels. Right this way.
Or melatonin drops, right? So once all those elimination organs are opened through the history of iridology, then I can choose the detox. And the detoxes that I choose, which I wanted to talk to, is about clay.
Oh, here we go. She's gonna
So-
be modeling clay now.
So what it is that the holistic world believes that we take bentonite clay, which is powdered,
Okay.
you put it in water, you swirl it up, it's an edible clay, right? Specifically bought for that. So you drink this, and then it pulls out the metal toxicity that you have in your body, and it
The
absorbs
diatomaceous
it.
earth does that too.
Yeah, so it absorbs it everywhere, and then it transports it out. But for this, you need to make sure that your colon is open. You know,
And you're not constipated.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to have a little vase in your basement here.
Yeah, it sits in it. So the product I suggest for those extreme detoxes are 2 weeks or 3 weeks of herbal packages. And herbal products, doesn't matter which one you use, has to have one in there for laxatives, right? Like Cascara Sagrada, because it helps you move it out. It has to have in black walnut. So if you have your own product, check out the ingredients. Black walnut is always anti-parasite and anti-fungus, right? And that's what we have
Most of
to
the stuff
deal
is
with
caused
it
by
too.
fungus.
Exactly. And then one is in there always for, the liver, milk thistle,
Milk thistle, yeah.
right? And when
think
you
I have
take
that.
when you
You have
take
that?
all that, right? Like, and you take it for like 2 weeks, and you take this clay, drink it.
Oh, boy. You're going to drink it first. Tell me how it is.
We're gonna try it out later after the show. No, I'm kidding. And then after you drink it, then 10-15 minutes you should eat. So, like you have regular eating in your digestive system. And then afterwards you take all those probiotics and things that they're
Well,
in
let-
these packages.
Let's just talk about that, the probiotics. I've had
Mm-hmm.
live probiotics, 50 million or billion, whatever it is.
Yeah, we were in billions.
And I
yeah.
can say this much. I did not
See the
see
difference.
any different.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the live ones, the dead ones, the ones that don't want to work, the ones that come across the border, I don't know.
I'm a big believer in eating it in a natural way. Like in old times when we didn't have a refrigerator, what do? We put pickles in a fermentation,
pickles.
Yeah.
right?
Or sauerkraut.
Or
or-
sauerkraut.
Oh,
Exactly.
You know what I like too is pickled herring.
pickled herring,
Yeah.
you?
But
yeah,
that
I
is
do.
from the Norwegians.
You like that?
I
Yeah,
like
it comes
that.
from the
And you know what?
Norwegians.
This is going to sound gross, but I actually like to sip on the juice sometimes. And I know I need it when I'm.
Yeah.
I mean, if I eat all the herring, I'll save the jar so the juice is there because it's the best probiotic there is. You know.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this is where you kind of like drink the kombuchas or,
Yeah.
you
I-
drink
that-
the juice.
Yeah.
Kimchi, like Asian have had this forever, which is like this cabbage with their spicy Asian
It's
kind
hot,
I know
right?
when you put
It's
it's really
hot.
spicy.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Kimchi?
Yes, yes.
I want to
So
try some of
all
that.
those,
Yeah.
exactly, are much
Yeah, good.
better probably as your probiotic pill. I mean, I would say. That's why you never saw any difference.
I never saw a difference. And they charge you so much money for the live one,
Yes.
and I didn't see a difference at all.
Yeah, and that is exactly why, because sometimes we don't know, should we keep buying this product and take it forever and ever and ever?
That's the whole thing.
And I have the 3-3-3 rules that I'm going to share now with the audience here, okay? So 3 days when you have some acute pain, let's say fever, or let's say
Okay.
strep throat, or you have sore throat. You try for 3 days herbs, right? And golden seal or oregano oil or olive leaves,
oregano
right?
oil is
And you
really
give it
good.
a shot, and you take it every 2 hours, actually, in tincture, and it's not working, then you go right back to the doctor. 3 days, I give the chance. 3 days is what I do when something is already very inflamed, you're in pain, you're like quite high inflamed.
Well, the oil of oregano in Italy is a very, very well-known product.
Exactly.
They use that. Right, my brother-in-law has at home. I told him about it. He went and got it.
Yeah.
You
And you put it underneath your tongue, kind of.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks when you have some like a rash or something that just like has been around you for a while, and now you're like, I'm gonna just work with herbs right now, like salves or acne, or give it 3 weeks if your product, if you bought one, you should see some sort of relief or changes, in 3 weeks with a product if it works well. 3 months when it has been already chronic. You've had that rash for 6 months or a year, then give it 3 months. But if you have no change after 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, you
Well,
got
that
to
would-
change your herbal product.
Well,
Gotta
that's the
change
thing. When
something.
Yes.
Something's going to be changed, but people get, a lot of people don't even know they have it. They have psoriasis. And they don't know they have it. And these things that they're talking about now on TV, and take this, and in 3 months, you'll look better, but you may still have it. Just
Yeah.
The point of it is like, you are taking a chemical to ease a symptom
Yeah.
that manifests on the outside of the skin.
Yeah.
How about taking something that's natural? I know there's got to be something.
And
that
that's
does the
exactly
same
what
thing.
I do. Is like when people don't get relief, you know, they do the extreme detox or whatever, and they come back still there, right? Then that's why I do the elimination organ detox first, and then also gentle detoxes. Gentle detoxes are, for example, that I use. That's from probably 5 years consecutive in business, actually. It's the best
Okay.
program. Is 21 days of a mucus-free diet, right? 21 days I try maybe a high raw diet, you know? And a specific, say, 21 days, I'm not saying you should be on a raw food diet forever, right?
Yeah.
And then there's other forms that I do where I give the body a break. It's like a 3-day apple juice fast,
That's the Edgar Casey thing. Yeah.
Yes.
He started that. Yeah.
right? Or a 3-day,
Well, 21 days is, for anybody to do anything, 21 days, it develops into a habit.
yes.
So that's
exactly.
even in hypnosis, we do that.
Yeah.
We give a DVD at the end, and they listen to reinforce the hypnosis. So it's the same principle. 21 days, it's going to wind up becoming a habit,
Right.
which is a good habit because it's something that's cleansing the body.
Right, but that's the next thing that's the problem is sometimes people get caught in detox diets and they don't know how to move out. So people then are constantly on this detox diet and then they have this success and then suddenly they get worse again. You know, they come to me and they followed like 5 years of a raw food diet. I know now people call me up and says, I've been 20 years on this raw food diet. That's okay for you, maybe.
It's a long time,
I'm
yeah.
cold here. I live in a cold weather. I couldn't eat pineapples all day, you know.
Oh,
what I mean?
right.
Like, so you got to think logic in the end too. But after all that, we might still not have success because, what did we say in the beginning? Emotional layer and
Right.
spiritual layer.
Right.
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 So this is when I go then in the next step is, okay, we tried all that, you know, physical is healthy, but you're still attached. Let's say, for example, lungs, right? I did all the lung things, you know, I changed the diet, I gave them herbs, slippery elm, I did a detox, and the lungs don't open up. Well, the lung is associated with specific emotions, right? The energy vibration of grief.
Grief, sadness, anything to do
You
with
went through that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Remember, you kept on feeling like you were drowning. Tell me, why am I
Did you
drowning?
feel that?
Yeah.
People, people don't realize that when they have lung problems, it's an emotional, mental grief problem inside of some sort. And, so they have to purge that, transmute that to get rid of it. It's
Like when
very
you
deep,
had
cellular.
right, when you had the big grief with your, did
loss of
you
a husband,
feel it on
yeah.
the lungs?
Oh yeah, well you know what? For years I had chronic bronchitis, and so after doing a lot of this emotional work, got rid of that. But one of the big tips, which and it was actually I was at an expo and a psychic guy walks by me and he goes, "You realize you got bacteria on the bottom of your lungs?" And I said, "No." So he says, "Eat blue cheese. It's a natural antibiotic."
That's right,
Yeah.
And
it
you know
is.
what? I never got bronchitis again.
There we go.
Because the
And-
emotional work was done.
Exactly.
But she has trouble dating.
No, not really. I saw her Facebook. She's like two
Oh,
good-looking guys dancing
she's
away.
the belle of the ball now.
Exactly, she
Are you
is.
kidding? Lady
So-
in red.
So that's why I'm like, the emotional cannot be forgotten either. So in this case, sometimes people then think they need another detox physically, another herb, another cleanse, another this, another diet. But meanwhile, they need energy healing at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
would
Exactly.
you-
You're right.
Yeah.
In fact, of course, that's my forte. Hit there first, and actually, I try to do it all simultaneously.
that
Yeah.
would be the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what that means is like, so when they come to me and they have like, the lung issues, you can change your mucus forming foods, you can take it all out, but like you said, it's grief.
If you just say you give someone for the breathing thing 5 different items, but there are like 15 items that could work. Do you mix and match them if there's no results and change them out and say, stop taking this one, take this?
Yeah. I
Okay.
always kind
So
of.
it's got to be like a plan B and
Yeah,
a
it's
plan
kind of
C
like,
and-
how the medical world actually does it too.
They
They
do
don't
that,
always
yeah.
get it right either. I
No,
mean,
they
not that
don't.
I want to say anything, but some people respond to that blood pressure medicine and the other person doesn't. Energetic. So I have this other side. This is completely like towards Adolphina's world, right? So if we can see the other picture right here.
The Master
Right?
Detox.
It all begins and ends in your mind. What you give power to has power over you if you allow it. And this is exactly where we're saying, so there's emotions attached to specific organs, right? So if I'm always angry and miserable now about this whole COVID world, then I think my liver will be more stagnated because anger is connected with the energy of vibration with the liver.
Right, I know, and that's kind of like an Oriental thing, I think, where they first pin that. That's Asian, and that goes back to the meridians and everything else, you know. So I mean, it's all key.
That was recommended to me just recently.
Fear is kidneys.
Yes. Adrenals. Do you know adrenals?
What?
She loves
No trust.
No trust?
Yes.
You always play with the adrenals.
I do, yeah.
Like look around. I mean, we can really not trust anybody anymore.
But
I don't trust you, sis.
you don't trust me after what, 10 years?
After all this time. It just came to me now. Now I know the reason.
Tommy, you're so full of it.
Okay, I'm full of it.
Or the heart, because you have red on and
Yeah.
it's Valentine's. The heart is about love, and it
Right.
has to also be self-love.
Right, and you can't really draw love to you unless you love yourself.
If you don't
And
love
that's why
yourself,
I
you
like
can't
your
love
outfit
others.
today so much.
Well, you know, we want to say before we forget, it is happy belated Valentine's Day to everyone out there.
Yes.
That's
The
why I'm
day
wearing my
one
heart.
day
One day
removed.
late. One day late.
But she always carried Christmas and Valentine's Days, holidays that represent love and guidance, Easter, and all those holidays, Hanukkah, all of them are representation of love. And if you can carry that throughout the year, you may not need any of this. You know?
No detox
All right?
necessary.
Don't make things anger. Don't make jealousy, all the negative things your God. Because once you do, you own it, and that's what you will be. And these things do manifest in the body to where you can't do anything about it until the change starts in you.
All true. All true. You know what? I actually keep a little tiny one of those porcelain Christmas trees on my table, in my kitchen table. It's a thing. It lights up. It has a little thing, and I actually keep it there to remind me to keep Christmas in my heart
Keep
all
Chris
year.
in your heart all year.
Yeah, I
Nice.
keep
And
it
this-
there
Be
for that
generous,
reason.
be giving,
Yeah.
help your fellow man. That's the main directive.
And then think about it, heart attacks, right? I mean, there's sometimes people, they, high up the management ladder, right? And then suddenly they were very healthy, they always said, and then suddenly drop, have a stroke or heart attack.
Yeah.
And when you think about when you're in this, like, dog eats dog world,
Yeah.
the higher you go up
Yeah.
with the corporate world, like, right there, I don't know, they don't feel appreciated, and that's also their heart.
Well, do you know that I have actually went in and changed some people's hearts on an etheric basis because their hearts were like stone. And there was there's something that was said, I don't know if it was an Egyptian lore or not, but the Anunnaki would come and eat your heart alive if it was stone. See? And it has to do with, I believe it's in Mat, where she would hold up the feather of judgment, right? And if the heart was light as a feather, and you determine if you would pass through, right? So this is all connected, and people don't realize how important the spiritual world is and how key it is to open your heart.
So if any of
Exactly.
you out there have heavy hearts, she's coming to bite it.
I'm not one of those beings, but I can change it out for you, make you happy.
That's it.
But I wanted to ask you, can you touch on the skin and the kidneys? Because how much time do we have left anyway?
Ken, what do we got, Ken?
Yeah.
15?
So the
Okay.
skin is also part of the lymphatic system. So that's why I was already talking about when
Yeah.
your lymph is flowing
Yeah.
and circulating, right? And the skin is also circulating.
Right.
Skin, again, for blue-eyed people, is the saunas. You know what I mean? You go between hot and cold. So when I grew up in Austria, I was growing up into this culture of a sauna club. Okay. So what that means is people, like, they all know each other, and every Saturday they meet into this, like, sauna, right? And they sit in this hot sauna for like 5 minutes or 10
The
minutes.
saunas.
Yes, literally together. They pour water on it, heating stones, so that it gets even hotter, and then they circulate towel, and then everybody just runs out the door because nobody can take it anymore.
Steam.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they jump into this cold, deep water instantly. Or when it's winter, and all the Swedish people know that, or Austrian, you roll around outside in the snow.
Oh my God!
I got
naked. I
Oh
wanna
my
say.
God!
Okay. Listen,
I could see the hot and cold, but the snow, I'm not
if I
so sure
jump in,
about.
if I
Naked
jump
one,
into
right?
this, listen, if I jump into the ice cold water or into the snow naked,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be wearing something up here like Frankenstein. They're gonna be right here. Are you kidding me?
And they did this for the
They have
lymphatic.
to, yeah, have to
And
shut
for
the
the
pores.
skin to stay,
You
you
shut
know,
the
to
pores.
yes, exactly. To it's like a muscle suddenly. The skin, you know, when you go
Yeah.
hot and cold, your muscle is your skin in a way.
contracts and expands.
Yes. So if you want to do skin exercise in a way, that's how it is. And the newest trend right now in the spas actually is that cold.
The cold wraps.
Cold,
yeah.
like you go inside and it's like really cold and you stay in there for like 5 seconds, right? To shock the body and then you come out. I don't know what it's called. There's a new name now, but it's a new trend and it goes, right?
It's called millennial torture.
That's it. And it's just mimicking what we did by rolling in the snow, I think.
You know, I can't help but have that vision of somebody naked rolling around in snow.
But you know, that's why they do hot and cold showers. Same thing. I mean, you know.
Yeah. And my grandmother, who, you know, just passed away in 2020 of 99 years of age,
Wow.
she swears with this like hot shower and cold, you know? Like, she's like, you have to end with the cold because the pores are closed in.
Closed, yeah.
Can you imagine coming out of the shower cold? I mean, I go in to get warm, right? So that is all for the skin, and that's all for the youthfulness of our skin.
Huh, that's interesting, you know, and I had not practiced that, but I might start practicing that.
Listen,
And
you start
another-
jumping on your neighbors over there naked in the snow. Are you crazy?
Yeah, she's reversing
No,
aging.
you know what? Nice hot tub outside in the
know.
cold,
Oh,
right?
boy.
Oh.
And
Oh,
another
boy.
thing is important
Take
also.
pictures. Anyway,
Take pictures.
Ocean. Like in the winter,
Yeah.
we don't look our best. And I noticed that when I went on this trip to the Maldives, within 2 days, my fingernails were stronger, my hair looked great, my skin looked amazing.
you had a
and
tan, you weren't so pasty,
not,
and you're good.
Yeah, and not even the tan. It was really the ocean air of the
Of course,
salt.
sea air, salt
Yeah, oh
air.
yeah, uh-huh.
And
And,
when
the
you-
water.
Yeah, and when you're talking about kidneys, kidneys need the right sodium, right? Because if we eat all this table salt, right, not good. But if we have good salt, you know, the Himalayan salt, and if we inhale for our lungs, ocean air, right?
That's what I do. I go down to the ocean even in the winter.
I know, and that's exactly where it's
I
at.
have a beach that I have sanctified down in Tottenham.
He's
for-
lucky he's
for the
close.
Blessed, for the Blessed
Nice.
Mother. I go there, and every time I go there, she can tell you, the angels come out, the Blessed
Yeah,
Mother comes
I
out.
can see that. And this is exactly where I'm getting to my last little bit, spiritual detox.
Okay, let's go, babe.
Okay,
We're
let's
running
go.
out of time.
We
Let's
have
Wrap
about
it
go.
10
up.
minutes.
Let's go.
Spiritual
That's right,
detox. So what
Okay.
is spiritual detox is that our soul also needs cleansing, right?
Purging.
And exactly, and you know all about that, and that is about, you know, the environment that you're in is either a low energy or a high energy, right? So when we are in an environment where everybody's just negative and, you know, and
Have you
it's-
watched TV lately?
Yeah, that's what, you know what?
Maybe for the
I'm
last
literally-
50 years?
I'm
That's
doing
no,
a
for
T-
the last 2 years, you mean,
I'm
especially.
doing a TV detox.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I am too. For
I don't watch
years.
TV. I watch
Yeah.
Hallmark, that's it.
Because I know, me too. I did actually. I
You know what I
seriously
love?
become
I'll
a
tell you,
Hallmark
this
fan
is why
now.
Hallmark is good. Guy meets girl, she's from the past, he's from the past, he went away, she got pissed at him. 90 minutes later, they're getting married.
Yes, I love it. And our emotions are never really like
No.
this and then down. It's all like flat. I can handle that.
And plus, they're all pretty.
So cleansing in a way is like not just sage, you know, like sage the house. You cleanse with that. What other cleansing methods do you have?
Oh,
cleanse your
Lord.
energy?
Actually, you know,
Crystals?
there's so many different ones. I got to give that some thought for a second. But yeah, I mean, you know, for a year, I wasn't on the computer. I didn't use the telephone. Complete
Oh,
detox from all
nice.
that. And it was funny because my angels had me taking a bath every single night and staying in that. Remember, Tommy?
I told you to do it with the watermelon. You did.
And I did, yeah, because I had radiation burns from
Wow.
ascension process. And so anyway, long story short, that was a major thing. And you know what? A lot of there was ring around the tub. I had to clean the tub a lot because I was detoxing. And now I still do the baths, but not every day maybe. But there's very rare are the
You
rings.
take that bath, you put some Dr. Teal's in there and the lavender, and just sit there and let it
Exactly.
take it away from me.
That's a great thing. So the essential oils, crystals, going outside, walking barefoot. I mean, not right
crystals.
now,
My
right?
wife wants to kill me. Got crystals everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
and that's all cleanses your soul and brings up the vibration. And so now is the big question at the end of this big talk. Where do you start? Physical, emotional, spiritual, spiritual, emotional, physical?
That's a tough question. All, if you can, right? I've been thinking about what you said. The sun is very cleansing, and also something else. When you get to the point where you meditate, you can actually, when you merge with the Godhead, okay, in your meditation, if you're able to do that at that point. I mean, you have to work your way up to there, of course. That is when true healing happens.
Yeah.
That is when true soul healing happens and spirit healing, And so that's one of the reasons why it's so key to have that silence. And, I never had that silence until my husband crossed. So for the past 4 years, I've had that silence. And I was so guided. I mean, I meditate every day.
Nice.
And
You vegetate?
vegetate and meditate, okay? Anyway, but that's so key. And another thing that came to me when we were talking, or you were talking with him, about the adrenals with Tom.
I became a him.
A him. You are a him.
I'm a him.
You're a him.
Yeah.
Better than he or she.
You never know today. You're not supposed to tell what you are. Go ahead.
I forgot.
So there's another
I know.
picture.
Wait.
Exactly. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's exactly another
smudging?
picture. Exactly.
The one thing I wanted to mention where you were talking about the adrenals with the trust.
Yes.
A way to get the trust is when you're trusting the universe, when you're trusting God, that everything's unfolding the way
Yes.
it's
That's
supposed
it.
to.
Connecting.
Because you know what? It's true. It's hard to actually trust people because they're so flawed. But if you can trust God, that's something completely different.
Well, that's the only one you need to trust.
Yeah, and you know what?
You know?
Another key to that is the surrender. You have, in order to trust God, you got to surrender to that.
Nice.
You need to.
That's
you
key.
need to
Awesome.
recognize-
So that's
yeah.
exactly why I'm here, because you have so much knowledge about the spiritual. I got stuck in the physical. You are in everything.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
The thing you have to realize when it comes to the spiritual is that you are God. God and I are one. Everyone born is born with God within. In the book, the Bible, it says, the word was spoken and then dwelt amongst us. The interpretation is wrong. The word was taken from the Greek. I forgot the word that it is, but it means within.
Yeah.
The God force within us. When you recognize that you are God, and we have 5 minutes, God, if you could stretch that a little bit, all right? When you realize the God force within you, all of these things that we spoke about today, okay, will take hold. And you will be well because you control your wellness, all right? And everything that was said here today is a part of being who you are, a child of God. When you recognize that, there is nothing you can't do.
Nice set.
People play too small. And, for years I was told, think big.
That's right.
Think big. And I
Yes.
never really thought big, but writing books, having a TV show.
did all
I mean,
of that, right?
Right.
Yeah. The only thing she
Look
didn't.
at me.
You just,
right?
you just do it. You're guided.
Yeah, I was
what
like
I mean?
guided.
Oh,
and,
yeah, I pulled up your book.
And Spirit told me to write something. I had no time, and then COVID broke out,
And she is the author.
and
Yeah.
so this was one of the books of the recent one, 25 Tools for Goddesses.
Yay.
And I'm co-author of that
What
one.
the heck are our gods supposed to do?
Yeah, we'll need to stick together. And then here
The men are the kings, honey. The women are the goddesses.
Our book is probably Mad Magazine.
then here's one that is my story, how Iridology found me, or I found Iridology. And everybody has a story how you kind of like suddenly have an awakening, right?
Yeah.
And this one was just necessary because lots of people had a lot of emotional issues with sitting alone, not
That's
seeing
right.
their friends. So 25 great holistic practitioners got together and we give tools for the happiness.
That's right.
Right?
All beautiful, all beautiful. I
Thanks.
haven't read them. I didn't know that you had written them. I mean, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
You know, with this thing, we've been kind of separated.
Yeah.
But I am going to
For
come
2
and
years
see
of COVID,
you.
I see you've been
Yeah.
busy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's like one more thing. Here's like one more picture. And like you said, go big.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us.
My upcoming goddess retreat in the
Okay.
Maldives in January. I wanted to just like go where I fought. Even when I was very young, I was a flight attendant with like between 23 and 26. And I had one of those trips to the Maldives. And I always swear when I was there, I'm like, I want to take a big group of people with me one day, just to live there for like 5-6 days, you know, and just enjoy yoga and all that. And that's why I'm going big with this one.
That's going to be fabulous. That's that place that has the little huts out on the water. She
You're
was
going,
showing
right?
me pictures.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yes.
go. Most likely, yeah.
Yes, each
It'll be fun.
I
island.
want to crash the hen house. Yeah. I'll be the shark in the water.
And that's why my first one is I go for a goddess retreat, because I was talking like in a break that I want to do that for women. Women for
Empowerment.
women,
It's
exactly.
an
And that is
spiritual
where
empowerment.
go big, right? Or
Yeah, go
home.
big, honey. Go big. I mean, I
Thanks.
know, you know, I'll tell you, I mean, that's a good thing you're doing. I've done a few retreats and I enjoyed them very much. You know, and so I know for myself that my whole future is going to change completely. I feel it flipping, and so I'm not going to continue on the same path. I
No.
know something big is changing, and it's
Exactly.
coming.
Yep.
And I can't wait.
I know.
Oh boy, I'm never gonna
You
get the end
cannot
of this.
come,
Yeah.
unfortunately, to my goddess.
I know, I
sorry.
know. Take
Yeah.
pictures. I
Yeah.
know. Did I say that? No.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He'd be a fly on the wall. That's what
Yes.
he'd be, you know.
I'd be a fly in the ointment, more or less. Anyway, Kenny, what do we got? We got 2 minutes, so let's wrap this up. I want to thank our guest, Birgit, for coming
Thank
and
you.
enlightening us and everything about the eyes and the soul and the spirit and the holistic stuff and the what do you call it, herbalist stuff and things like that to do. If you want to find out anything more about this, I suggest that you can contact us here at the show at God's Way. You can send it over your request at 100 Cable Way under the show's name, and we will try to get you that information as you want it. Or contact us online. It's at the end of the credits. All right. Anything else, sis?
Nope, just have a wonderful February. February's the month of love, so keep loving your heart and shine your light.
That's right. Kiss everybody, even if they slap you. So,
Tommy, that's true.
And thank you for letting me come to your show after Valentine's.
Oh,
We're
love
so
having
happy to
you.
have
Really.
you. We're
Thank
so
you.
happy to have our guest back to begin with, but we particularly enjoy your subject because we know how valid it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the times we're in right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It goes fast.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
It goes fast.
Well, I'll be seeing you in a week or two
Yeah,
anyway. So.
sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You going for an eyeball check?
No, I'm going to
the
go see
expo.
at the expo.
Oh, at the expo. Okay.
Yeah.
Then go for an eyeball check.
Yeah, that's where
well,
I'm
maybe
there.
she'll do an eyeball check right after this show.
Oh, we'll see. Anyway,
So,
all right, let's wrap this up.
see you next month.
Next
Also,
month. Bye
thanks.
now.
Bye, guys.
Music Maestro.